Today on my channel, Planner Friends, we're going to decorate in my Creative Faith journal with a little faith discussion. As always, my goal is to uplift you, to inspire you. So let's talk faith and let's get creative. I need to catch up for this week, and I'm honest about that. So we'll get caught up and let's do next week too. So please stay tuned. Hello, planner friends, and welcome to my channel. I am One Crafty Dolo. My name is Dolores, hence the nickname. And today what I'd like to do is we're going to get into my Creative Faith Planner, as I said, my journal really, and have some creative fun. If you're new, you're welcome to join my growing community. If you're a subscriber, I can't thank you enough for the gift of your time. If you're passing by, hello, welcome. I'm trying to create a positive space here on YouTube. On Sundays on my channel, it's always about faith, Bible studies, prayer journals, Jesus, and I always have a good mug of tea. True confession, I started to film this and my little cat started to barf. This is real life. So I stopped it and then I got confused. So I'm going to decorate this current week. I'm a little behind. So what we've got here these are from Dollar Tree. I wish I'd bought two of them. I usually do. If I like something from Dollar Tree, I try to buy two because they're gone. We have the Woodland Seasons. I might use some of these. I'm not sure. From Happy Planner. We have the Agenda 52 Wildflower book. This is a great book. I mean, they're all good. Super Bloom from Happy Planner. Feathers and Flowers. And then the Jojo Plans glitter boxes, which I might use. We'll see. So this is, like I said, a Creative Faith journal. Let me show you if I can real quick. You can see how chunky it's getting because of the different elements. So I know probably by December, by the end of December, by January, I'll take the 6 months out. It's an 18-month planner, and I have old rings, and I have Happy Notes cover, so I may push it over there. This is a thematic journal. It's very different from my other faith studies. I have a faith study on women in the Bible. I just did a video on that last week. Maybe I can link. Yeah, I'll put that in the link below. I have traditional faith studies. I have a prayer journal, all of which I love. But I'm trying to increase my knowledge of Scripture. And as I do this, I'm coming at it from different ways. So I didn't know what I was going to use this planner for. And then I watched some videos. A person had a suggestion in one of my planner groups. So as you can see, every week I have a theme. And then I look up Bible verses to match the theme, and I go through them to see what I like the best. So this was God Always Provides. Jesus heals us, right? Which he does. Jesus gives us strength. Jesus brings us peace and victory. I never do the dashboard in here. In my other faith planners I do, but not in here. The first week here was about grace. I thought that was good and helpful. Incidentally, you'll see sometimes my stickers, I don't mean to put them down crooked, but I have visual challenges. I have an autoimmune disease, and it affects my eyesight. Love from God is, and it is Jesus, but also God's love. And then he loves us so much, he sends us Jesus. I really enjoyed this one a lot because it took me into more of a deep dive on 1 John 4. I'm not as familiar at all with the books of 1 John and 2 John. So I like learning more about things, and that's the purpose of this. Last week was all about patience. Who else here could use a little patience? And you can see from these, I differentiate my writing. Sometimes I'm writing vertically, sometimes horizontally. It just depends how I decorate it and what fits. And as you can see, I am behind. I'm filming this early. This is Wednesday, and it's going to drop on Sunday. So I need to get a bit caught up, which I can do. So usually the first thing I try to do is to put down some kind of boxes. I start with boxes, okay? That's where we start, and that's where where I go. Sometimes then I'll put down some washi strips because I can and because I like doing that. Actually, you know what? I know this is fall, but I'm trying to integrate various colors and so forth. I think we'll put this one down here. I just go and I have fun. That's the whole purpose here, is to enjoy the process and just do this in a way that reflects my joy in my faith. So what I wanted to talk to you today, just a little bit, is about who you are in God's kingdom. Incidentally, I broke my tweezers. I haven't replaced them, so I'm scrubbing along here. We just finally learned how to use them, and yeah, okay. So who are you in God's kingdom? And I think that's important. That's part one. Part two is, how do you hold on to that in a world that is constantly devaluing you? The world likes to tell you who they think you are. They're wrong. I'm just going to say it. They're wrong. People always tell you who they think you are, and they're wrong. And so how do you hang on to your faith in those times and in those places? Because it can be really hard. Believe me, I got you. I know this too well. And so I want to come on here. I want to spread some being positive and positivity, but I also want to come on here to remind you. I'm just a reminder here. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a biblical scholar. But I want to remind you whose daughter you are, or whose child you are, or who you are in God's eyes. And I think it's an important point that we all often miss, because one of the biggest lessons from my faith studies, okay, just full confession here, is the more I get into my studies, okay, I gotta go slow here to try to get it straight. The deeper I delve into my studies, the more I see how much the world is trying to take us away from God. And that's a hard one. It's a hard one conceptually to understand, the why, the how. And yet I think it is true. Think about the values of the world. I grab some tea here. The values of the world are success. The values of the world are, focus on money and career and so forth. And fine, yeah, focus on those things. But just know that there's more to it, and that in the end, you're not going to take your money with you. Your joy will not be changed by accruing tons and tons of cash or whatever. You have to be sound if you can do it as best as you can. I don't know. It's so hard, isn't it? But you also have to have faith at times where you just don't feel like having faith. And sometimes, isn't that the biggest challenge? I certainly know for me it is. Goodness, it is. It really is. And I get frustrated. I'm not going to lie to you. I get frustrated with myself because I will spike. I deal with anxiety. I deal with anxiety about everything. My son, everything from the house, the life, the everything, money, you name it, family. I worry about family all the time. I just worry, and I wish I didn't, but I do. My grandmother, one of my grandmothers, my Nana, had a saying, and I say it all the time in my house now. She had, my Nana had depression and she had anxiety, and she didn't fully understand it all. And, and she used to call herself a nervouser. I think that's a great word, isn't it? I'm a nervouser, she would say. And I guess as I aged and grown and gotten older, it really hit me in my 40s, truthfully. And so here we are, and it's like, wow, anxiety's awful, and it's real. And I have a lot more empathy for my grandmother than I always did. I was close to her, but even more so now, going through it myself. I don't thankfully, I haven't had the depression part of it, but I really empathize with people who are dealing with that as well. All right, I'd like to add a few little things from in here, maybe, and or from in here. Let's see what we can do. I also want to add 2 of these. I've been adding 1 or 2 every week. Maybe we'll get these down and then the other stickers. So anyway, as I was saying, so through dealing with anxiety and stress and all, it's really made me focus on, one of my ways to cope has been to focus on faith, but also to see who I am in God's eyes. And that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. In Genesis, God creates man, God creates woman. So God created you. He created me. He created all of us. Whoever you are, whatever you are. And he goes on throughout the Bible to remind us he loves us. He offers us mercy. He sends us Jesus because of his love for us. And so I think we lose sight of that in the day-to-day. So you know what, hold on. This is a little, I got to bring it up a little more here. How do I try to combat the world, deal with my anxiety and being a nervouser with faith? Okay, full confession. I still struggle with anxiety, but it's better. I will spike anxiety. I just did this the other night over something we were discussing. I got anxious. But first off, I can say it where I am. I can say it to my husband. And we work through it together. That helps. But I don't always rely on him, and he's not always around. So what I tend to do is, the answer for me, one of the answers, has been creative faith. And that's why I don't just spend time up here in my lair, my craft lair, journaling all day long. What I do, however, is I use my faith, my little faith spaces, to keep myself reminded of who I am, whose daughter I am, whose crown I wear. I said this last week in my video, but I want to reemphasize it because, again, people, boy, don't they have a knack for saying you're not this or you are this. It's who they think you are, but that doesn't mean you are. In fact, quite often they're wrong. They're just wrong. And so to combat that, I want you to dig into your faith. These thematic studies have been a really good way for me to do that. That looks really good, doesn't it? I like it. I think we're going to go on and do next week too, just because I want to get it all set. So let's see if I can do this one a little bit differently, shall we say? Anyway, I strongly suggest. So how do I do this study? Okay. I use the Mini Happy Planner. And what I do is I come up with an idea. Oops, are these all empty? Yeah, these are empty. Okay, here we go. I come up with an idea. Actually, no, let's go with red. Let's go with the red. And I come up with something. And then I use a Bible app. This is not my being able to pull all these verses. So I use the YouVersion Bible app. And what I find is you can go in there, you can search. So you do a search and it'll give you like prayer, it'll give you all kinds of options. I hit Bible. Then I go through. Sometimes it's a lengthy list. Sometimes I have to dig a little deeper. So for example, the week with patience, I had to look up patient and patience, right? And I could have gone, I think somewhere else I did go with 1 Corinthians 13, love is patient, love is kind. But I also am trying to learn the verses I don't know, that I really have so little knowledge about. So I'm working on those verses, learning them, understanding them, going with them. And then what I do is I go through them and I really, really try here to what's the word I'm looking for? To absorb them. And to then, when I am having a rough day, and this is why the faith spaces matter to me, when I'm having a really tough day, I can sit down with you with this planner, any of my faith planners, and go through it and say, oh yeah, and I readjust my eyesight and look at myself through that lens versus the lens of the world. And you know what? That is the healthiest thing I have done for myself. It absolutely, positively is the healthiest thing, because in doing so, anxiety will just spike up. Let me try this again. Anxiety will just spike up in you. But if you can pull yourself back from it, or stress or so forth, if you can pull yourself back from it, the trick is creating spaces where you can hit pause. I really mean that. Creating a space where you can hit pause. Because by doing that now, where do I want to put this? Let's put it back up here. That moment where you stop and you breathe and you're like, oh, it calms it all down. Not 100%. Obviously, it doesn't go away completely, but it does go away. And so that's how I'm doing this. It's really important to me that I grab a hold of it, and that I'm not just always running to the doctor or running on anxiety fueled, desperation or whatever you want to call it. So mixing creativity and faith has been absolutely one of my better decisions in life. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's changed my outlook on so many things. It's helping me through things. But as I said, it doesn't negate the anxiety issues, and it helps to have somebody, a friend, a family member, clergy who you can talk to about. You can take your Bible app, and in the Bible app, type in the word anxiety. No, I'm not kidding. Do it. Try it. And it will come up with incredible verses, for you to go through to help you along in the process. Okay, I straightened that out and brought it down a little bit. That's okay. I'm just enjoying this very much. Just a lot of mushrooms today. I don't know. There's certainly a lot of them in this space, so why not? And there. Just having fun, friends. It's just, yeah. Lordy, let's see here. Nope. Down here. There we go. Either side of that. And let's go over here. Like these little ones up top here. They're cute. They work. And we will still have to put in the other. Oh, I like the brown one. Yeah, let's put a brown one over here. Right here. There we go. Alrighty. So, where did I put? Oh, goodness. I'm like always the app. Oh, there it is. The Absent-Minded Professor. And these are the last two that I have. So we're going to use these. I think color-wise they work. I really like this red. That's why I picked the red boxes. Truthfully, where are we going to put you? I think we're going to put you right. No, we're going to put you here. See, they puff it up. You can see these pages are really, but I like them. They're cute, pretty. I think we can. This one's a tougher one. You know what? Let's cover the butterfly. I don't usually do that, but yeah, I have to lift it up a little because it's hanging over the page. Let's try it this way, maybe. Yeah, it's not quite working the way I want it to. Wait. How about we do this? This one's a little bit easier, I think. Yep, put you there and put you, we're going to put you up here. There we go. Okay. I tend to put them on the periphery. So now the other thing I like to do really quickly is decorate with my markers sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I walked away for a minute and I added some washi when I came back. I thought it was just so cute. I love this washi. It's an old one. I believe it's an old one from Cocoa Daisy. So here we go. Now I'm looking at the colors here, and I think I'm going to use, I didn't use this marker as much as I could, but I really like it. So I'm just going to add some colorful dots. I mean, it's a really easy way to add color, to decorate. What I do here is I make little triangles, basically, with the color dots in the middle. I find that to be an easy way to remember to do it. Like, you know, instead of just random, I do a little more controlled in the middle. Okay. It's very light, very subtle. Sometimes I'll just do something like this just to have fun. Just adding to it. And I do have red. I could use the red over here. And again, just kind of add some dots. Sometimes I take, because I'm doing triangles, it's easier. I just, you know, and it's relaxing. This is really relaxing. I don't know why. Just is. I will sometimes take a second color in the middle too. Or I'll do stripes. That's another thing you can do. Anyway, this is just all part of how I feel like I'm integrating God into my life, you know, on a daily basis, a weekly basis. And as you see, sometimes I fall behind, and that's okay, because we're allowed to be humans. In fact, we're supposed to be humans. We're just supposed to be good humans, which people seem to miss a lot of. All right, so we're set up. I'm going to stop this right now. I'm going to fill this out, and then I'm going to come back and show you what we're doing. All right, friends, here we are, and I love how it turned out. I didn't want to take up your time writing it all out on camera, but I want to show you what I did and explain it and so forth. Okay, so I used the orange to contrast with the green, and then this kind of yellowish color, yellow-green. So we start with 1 Peter 5:6, which is pretty big here, okay? Wait, no, sorry. We start with Philippians 2:3. Sometimes I have to, you know, follow myself here. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Then we go to 1 Peter 5:6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. James 4:10. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. And this appears 2 more times in different gospels, and I thought that was an important one to latch on to. So in other words, the world values you to be braggadocious. I'm so successful. Look at my wealth. Look at me. Look how, you know, let's get plastic surgery so I can, or take whatever, so I can, you know, look better, and I can win in the game of aging or attractiveness. And what God is saying was like, well, maybe if you're, no maybes. Adopt the mantle of humility, and God will raise you up. Well, that's food for thought, isn't it? So here we have a longer verse from 2 Chronicles 7:14, which I just thought was so good. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. I think that's quite an interesting one. I don't have time to unpack it now, but I think I'm going to delve into that one deeper, which is something I didn't mention earlier, is that oftentimes when I'm going through this, when I need a boost in terms, or to calm, I'll go back and read the whole chapter so I better understand, and sometimes I'll turn to explanations. Sorry, I moved the desk there. Okay. So I really try to seek out what they're saying and, again, apply it. Now, we have a verse here from Luke and this one over here from Matthew, which James echoes later on, but we see it in two different forms. So the verse from Luke is 18:14. I tell you this man went to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. And then Matthew 23:12. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. And I thought that was important because, again, this idea of God versus the world. Now, I don't always do these in one setting like this, in one fell swoop. Sometimes I do, depending how I'm feeling. And like this next week, I think I'll do it. Sometimes I'll do half, then I'll do part. Then I often do it that way just for time constraints. Like I said, I'm not always just sitting up in my nook here journaling, but I wanted to show you what the final product looks like. I also want to encourage you real briefly. You journal, you stop, you think, oh, I never finish anything. You try a faith study, you stop, you think, I don't finish anything. Do you know how many faith studies and journals I abandoned along my way here? Too many to count. The process of decorating holds me accountable. I am 100 times more likely to finish and work in here once it's decorated, because turns out I didn't know this, but I like creating pretty creative spaces. So that's it here, friends. This is your weekly encouragement here. I hope I lifted you up. If I can lift you up in prayer, can you let me know in the comments? It really would be my privilege and honor to do so. And if you find this video helpful, I'd appreciate you letting me know that too. All right, planner and faith friends, have a blessed week, friends. Bye now.